Welcome to the HohO Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airwaves and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from Weaponized Sloth Productions Studio B. Welcome to the HohO Show, and as always, I'm your host, HohO. So how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do, and I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I really do. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I had an interesting week. You see, Monday I was supposed to have a colonoscopy done. It's that time. It's that time. But, so I went to the store, I got my prep work, and, I should have known how bad this was going to be whenever I found out how much of that crap you're supposed to take. Because the thing that you're supposed to take is something that's sold over the counter. It's nothing that takes a prescription, and I'm like, well, that kind of figures. I mean, who in their right mind would put themselves through that? So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It totally makes sense. But it's a powdered stuff that in over the course of 2 days, like the night before and then the morning of, you're supposed to take 14 freaking doses of a laxative. And I got to be honest with you, though, because it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be. It really wasn't. I mean, granted, it was crappy. It really was. It made for a shitty day, but it wasn't as bad as what I thought it'd be. Now, granted, at the end of it, it was rather entertaining, and I even had to holler in front of him. I'd be like, dude, look, you got to come in here and see this, because like it was the color of the drink that I had been drinking that had the powder mixed into it. So I'm like, it was a nice bright neon green, and it was cool because I think it was even more neon greenish going out than what it was going in. Just throwing that out there. I mean, it was a really fantastic color. It was phenomenal. I was very pleased with the color. It was great. It really was. So I got to the hospital, right? Or the clinic of, where the procedure was supposed to be done. And I got there, and there's like a couple different waiting areas. There's a small little bench that you can sit on before you check in. And then there's like an actual waiting area. So I get there. I check in, and the lady's like, have a seat right there. I got to talk to scheduling. Now, that should have been my first clue that something was up. Now, granted, at this time, I have already taken my stuff. I am prepped. I am ready to go. I'm at the clinic, ready for a camera to get shoved up my hindquarters, and that's where I was at. Sit right there, and this was the waiting area or the waiting bench of, before you check in. She didn't send me to the actual waiting area, and I'm like, oh, boy. Yeah. She came back and was like, uno momento, por favor. She gave me the finger, not the bad finger. She gave me the one finger and, hold up, wait a minute. And then I get a phone call from the clinic because she was terrified. She wasn't even going to talk to me about this because she knew that this was bad. She knew what I was in for. She knows what I went through. And I get a call from the clinic, and they said, oh, yeah, by the way, so we canceled your procedure. I'm like, what? Wait a second. Do you realize what I put myself through to come here today? And you're canceling? You guys better shove a camera up my butt. And I mean right now, I don't want to do this again. So, that didn't end up happening. Just, so that's how my week started. Otherwise, Thanksgiving, yeah, I'm grateful to have, like solid bowels again. So that's a good thing, right? That's amazing. I love it. I really do. Anyway, that's what, that's what I went through this past weekend and week and whatnot. So yeah, if you ever have a chance, just don't. It ain't worth it. We're going to go ahead and get into this today because we've got a few things to talk about today. We really do. Now, y'all know how I like to start the show. I like to start it with a little bit of satire, with a little bit of humor, with a little bit of ha-ha. And my go-to place for satire news is the Babylon Bee because it's satire with a purpose, right? That's what it is. So this headline, let me go ahead and pull it up for you that are watching. Don't let anyone take your power. Tipsy Aunt Kamala, or Kamala, however the hell you pronounce it, tells confused 5-year-olds at Thanksgiving kids table. And I had to laugh whenever I seen this because, yeah, it was hilarious. Check out the article. But what this is basically talking about is she had a concession speech or whatever. I don't know. It was shortly after she lost. And the gutless woman couldn't even come out, the day of the election and address her people. She sent somebody else to do it. But anyway, that's beside the point. But she was given a speech, and there's a lot of people that are speculating whether she had a little too much to drink because her speech, her, I guess her facial expressions, everything was just like, yeah, she may have been drinking just a little bit too much. And apparently that is the rumor on the hill, is that she likes the bottle. That's what people have thrown around. That's what people have been saying. And, that's kind of why she has some of the mannerisms that she has. But this time it was pretty... A lot more out there than what it normally is, apparently. And, I'm like, yeah, well, that makes sense, I guess. This headline, since we're talking about Kamala Harris, there's been a lot of things that has come out regarding the campaign and how much money that she spent. I mean, she spent like $1 billion and they're like, what, $20 million in debt with all the money that they raised, with everything that, with all the money, all the big dollar donations, everything, with all the money that they raised, $1 billion, and they are 20 million or 18 million dollars in debt. And she was supposed to be the one that was going to, fix the economy, and she couldn't even stay within budget of what they raised during the campaign. So this headline from justthenews.com, an official of the DNC Finance Committee calls Harris campaign a $1 billion disaster. They're $20 million or $18 million in debt. It's incredible, and I raised millions of that. I have friends I have to be accountable to and explain what happened because I told them it was a margin of error race. And we also actually have the Kamala campaign has also even come out and admitted that they were never close. They were never close. Since they launched their campaign, all the numbers had Trump ahead by a significant number, a significant margin, that she wasn't even within the margin of error during any point in the campaign. Brian put in there, he goes, she sounded like Otis the drunk from the Andy Griffith Show. Yeah, that's pretty much what she sounded like, right? I mean, it was, she definitely sounded like she was tipsy. She was 3 sheets to the wind. That's what she sounded like. I mean, it really was a disaster. So this article continues, as an official of the Democrat National Committee called Vice President Harris's campaign for president a $1 billion disaster following President-elect Donald Trump's substantial victory in the election this week. And basically where all that money went to, because that's what people are asking. Where did the money go? $1 billion. Where did it go? How did you wind up $20 million in debt? Holy crap. You know how Kamala Harris threw out her campaign? Well, I had a hard time saying that word, didn't I? You guys remember during her campaign that Harris had, celebrity after celebrity endorsing her, showing up at the campaigns, talking, doing free concerts. She was on Oprah Winfrey. She was on the what Call Me Daddy podcast. All these different places. Well, it shouldn't be surprising that none of these celebrities did this out of the kindness of their heart. They didn't endorse her for free. One report is of what Oprah Winfrey got. Received not 100 million. My bad. My apologies. The Oprah Winfrey's and received 100. Why do I keep saying 100? I don't know. $1 million. $1 million. While Oprah appeared at a town hall with Harris in September at her final rally in Philadelphia before Election Day. $1 million. Now, granted, the check that was cut from the Harris campaign wasn't specifically written to Oprah Winfrey. It was written to Oprah Winfrey's HohO Productions. It still went to Oprah Winfrey. I know money went to the Call Me Daddy podcast. Money went to Al Sharpton in this article from, I got to find it. Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it. Yep, here it is. This headline from the Washington Free Beacon. MSNBC says it was unaware of Harris campaign contributions to Al Sharpton nonprofit, but won't say whether it is taking action. And Al Sharpton conducted a softball interview with Harris shortly after the campaign was paid his group $500,000. Huh. $500,000. The article continues, says that the Harris campaign made a $250,000 contribution to Sharpton's National Action Network on September 5th and another on October 1st, just weeks before Sharpton conducted a favorable interview with the Democrat nominee. You know, and here's the thing. You all know, okay, you all know that if this was done by a Republican that had all these people showing up to the campaigns, all these celebrities, all these endorsements, and then the news came out of how much the Trump campaign spent, gave, donated, paid using campaign funds, that there would be so much backlash it wouldn't even be funny. I mean, they would not be shutting up about this on legacy news networks. Brian put in there, goes, you know you suck as a candidate when you have to pay people to show up for you. Absolutely. And that's one of the things they were talking about too, was all these different campaigns. You had, you know, like buses showing up with all these people that, you know, like a lot of the people that were at the Harris campaigns were actually people that were paid to be there. Paid to be there. Here's this article. Let's see. That's the one I already did. Oprah Winfrey 1 million during the Harris campaign. That one I already did. This is something different. Yeah, here we go. This article is from, actually, it's a Fox News. It's a video, I believe. Tim Walz to address Democrat donors as DNC union launches GoFundMe for furious staffers, because all these people, you know, did this not from the kindness of their own heart. They did this, you know, they backed the campaign, they worked for the campaign because they were supposed to receive a little bit of money in this. Unfortunately, because that they are $20 million in debt, they don't have the money to pay them. And so you have these people that are up in arms, kind of furious about this, and now they launched a GoFundMe in order to pay these staffers. How ridiculous is this? How sad is this? You know, and like I was saying, y'all know that if this actually happened from a Republican candidate, you wouldn't hear the end of it. You know, you want to talk about election interference, like what they've thrown after Trump, you know, and we'll actually get into that because there's some interesting stuff going on right there, but it's ridiculous. You know, and we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's the thing. We shouldn't be surprised because, I mean, they pulled out all the stops. They really did. You know, and as I was starting to say before that, you know, we actually had finally released, they came out and acknowledged the fact that the Harris campaign, using their internal polling, never was even close. There wasn't one point during the campaign that they were ahead in the polls, that Trump had such an overwhelming lead that it was outside the margin of error. But nobody wanted to talk about that. And there's a reason why. There absolutely is a reason why. Now, I told you guys this Saturday before the election that my prediction was Trump was going to win. He was going to win the majority of votes, and he was going to win 35 states. Well, I was wrong. He didn't win 35, he won 31. He got the majority. And I did think he would win by maybe not greater numbers, but I thought that there was several states that he was actually going to do quite a bit better than what he did. But, you know, beside the point, there's an article from Woke Spy. And this article says, Democrats celebrating winning 4 senators in Trump won states despite losing control of Congress. You see, here's the thing, okay? We know that there was shenanigans going on. We really do. Okay, it's confirmed. So many people, so many eyes has been watching this election that is not even funny. Okay. Democrats tried and tried and tried. They knew they did not have the numbers to actually, take the election from Trump this go around. However, what their goal has been is basically making Trump impotent during his last 4 years as president. That's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to take his power away. They're wanting to limit what it is he's going to be able to do because they're absolutely terrified. I mean, let's be honest about it. They are absolutely terrified. There's no other way to put it. There's no two ways about it. They're terrified. They're terrified because they are afraid that Trump is going to do to them what they've been doing to Trump. The lawfare. Going after people in the administration. They're terrified that Trump's going to do the very same thing. And you know what? I hope he does. I really do. I'm being honest. Be petty. Damn it. Be petty. That's my mindset behind it. They should. Because here's the thing, they accuse Trump of doing things that he shouldn't have been doing. While all the while ignoring what the Democrat Party has been doing, ignoring what the Biden-Harris administration has been doing, ignoring what Hillary Clinton did, what the entire Obama administration did, ignoring all that crap and calling into play stuff that they, the Trump campaign, Trump presidency didn't even do wrong. Because, I had a conversation with somebody not that long ago, and they were talking about the Trump felony, the felonies, plural, that he was accused of. It's like, yeah, he was convicted of a felony. I go, no, he wasn't. They're like, yeah, he was. I go, no, he wasn't. He was not convicted of a felony. Crap. I forgot to mute my phone. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and do that right quick. Put in that. Go there. And the down button. And there you go. We're on silent. All right. And I go, no, President Trump was not convicted of a felony. It's like 34 felonies. No. Those 34 counts that he was found guilty of, they were not felonies. They were misdemeanors. And in order to bring up a misdemeanor in a case, whenever the misdemeanor that you are charging him with is past the statute of limitations, which it was, you have to attach it to a felony. And the felony you attach it to with the misdemeanor, it has to prove a pattern of behavior. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. Now, here's the thing. In order to be convicted of something, let's say, you are convicted of reckless picking your nose in a public area. You're convicted of that. You have to be charged with said crime so that this way your defense can defend you against said crime. And you have to be convicted by a jury of your peers. In other words, that crime that you are being convicted of, the jurors have to agree that, yes, you convicted that, you did that. Period, end of story. That's how that's supposed to be done. That's per the Constitution. That is legal. That's how it is supposed to be done. What happened in the Trump case? He was never charged with a felony. He was charged 34 misdemeanors, but the prosecution never officially charged him with any felony. Not one. And it's what the judge did. And this is the thing that ticked me off so much about that entire case. This is what royally pissed me off. Because, hold on, let me check. Okay, we're good. What ticked me off was what the judge told the jury. It's like, look, you don't have to agree on what felony Trump committed. You just all have to agree that he committed a felony. He was never charged with a felony. The Trump prosecution never had an opportunity to defend Trump against said felony that he was charged with, because he wasn't charged with a felony. Let's get that clear. President Trump was never charged with a felony. There were 34 counts that he was charged with, all of which were misdemeanors. There wasn't one felony that was attached to it. And whenever the judge gave the instructions to the jury, it was, here's a list of let's say 5. I don't remember the exact number, but let's just say 5. 5 felonies that we're going to throw on this, okay? Now, you all's pick which one you think he violated, which one you think he committed. Now, all of you don't have to agree on what felony he committed. You just all have to say that he committed a felony. So you had 2 of them that said he committed this felony. You had 3 or 4, 4 say that he committed this felony. And then you had, 6 that said that he committed this felony. Not every one of them jurors even agreed on one felony that they accused Trump of committing. And again, he was never charged with said felony. And yet, we're supposed to take the prosecution of Trump seriously. That he's a felon. Is he a felon? No. Was he committed? Or was he charged? Was he found guilty by a jury of his peers with a felony? No, he wasn't. Because not 12 jurors agreed. He never was able to, establish a defense against a charge because he was never charged with a felony. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact, undisputed fact. He wasn't charged with a felony. That whole entire thing was a sham. It was a fraud. They committed a crime in how they conducted the investigation, they violated every rule on the book, every single thing on the book, that is supposed to be a fair trial. They violated that, and they violated it hands down. It's not even a dispute. Look at the facts of the case. If you take Trump's name off of it, you take the political bullshit completely out of the equation, and you look at that with unbiased eyes, which is the only way to do it, because if you put Trump's name in there, it's all biasy, because Trump derangement syndrome is a true thing. It's actually out there. People are stupid, people are retarded, but whatever. You take the names out of it, and you look at that trial, you look at the facts of that trial, you look what the prosecution did in that trial, it's a joke. People should go to prison for how they did that. And the fact of the matter is, they are terrified that they will, because they had to make up crimes that Trump committed. They had to violate the law in order to prosecute and investigate Trump. I mean, let's not forget about the FISA warrants that they knew was a fraud in the first place, because it was something that was put together by somebody that was paid for. The whole entire thing was paid for by Hillary Clinton. We know this. It's not a question. We know this. They broke the law to prosecute Trump, to investigate Trump. They did that. They're afraid. And this isn't even a question of whether Trump's going to go after them, because I think that they should. But where the Democrats had to violate the law and make up crimes that Trump committed and violate everything that we hold dear with the law, with the Constitution, that's what the Democrats had to do. Trump isn't going to have to do that, because they did break the law. They did violate the Constitution. It's not just an accusation. They did it. You look at the information, you look at every bit of it, on the surface and even deeper, they violated the law. They haven't been tried. They haven't been found guilty. They haven't even established any type of a defense. But the facts of the case is clear. Private Santiago is dead. And those two guys killed him. Name that movie. It's an answer. It's not a question. They made up a bunch of shit in order to prosecute and go after Trump. Republicans, Trump isn't going to have to make up anything in order to go after the Democrats, various people in the administration, various people that are heads of some of these departments that went after Trump. Trump ain't going to have to make up anything. They violated. Brian got it right. A few good men. Yeah, that's right. I don't remember Dawson and Downing, maybe? Was that the name of the guys that were put on trial? Dawson and Downing? I think so. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember their names. That's why I left that out of the movie, unquote, quote, that I did. A few good men. You got it right, sir. You got it right. All right, moving on. That's what the Democrats are terrified about. They violated the law. They violated the Constitution. They did so without prejudice. And we'll talk about prejudices here in a minute. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when I return, we are going to be talking about, let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. We're going to be talking about Oh, you know what? No, we're going to hold off on that because there's this article that I do want to talk about. I was getting into it, but I kind of passed on by it, you know. But this article that was by Woke Spy, the Democrats celebrating winning 4 senators and Trump won states despite losing control of Congress. This is one of the reasons why we're calling out shenanigans, okay? Because Trump won these states, okay? Are you telling me that these people that voted, they voted for Trump and then they didn't vote down ballot? That's what you're claiming. Is that all these people who voted for Trump ignored the obvious? Every one of them did. That we ignored the obvious, that if Trump's going to win, he has to also not only have the presidency, but he's got to have Congress too. Otherwise, he's dead in the water. He ain't getting anywhere. He's not getting his agenda that we voted for passed. He's dead in the water. Dawson and Downey. Okay, I was close. I was close. And thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. You mean to tell me that people went out, voted early, cast a ballot, put their mark by Trump, and they didn't do anything down ballot? Is that what you're telling me? Because we Republicans know and understand that if President Trump is going to carry out his campaign promises, he needs the House of Representatives and the Senate. We know this. It's not a question. It's an answer. It's obvious, right? It's obvious. Do you really expect us to believe that in these states that he won, that they didn't? And here's the thing too, because in these states where, you know, and there's 4, and actually I think there was like 5, but anyway, it doesn't matter. These were all swing states. These were all states that, you know, they kept counting and counting and counting. I mean, there's still states that are counting. Still. Pennsylvania was told to shut down, to stop counting like twice by Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Why? Because they were counting illegal ballots. It's like, dude, stop counting. You're counting illegal ballots. They are illegal. You can't count them. Stop counting them. And they weren't the only state that was doing crap like that. Every one of these states where Trump won, and yet senators were elected, Democrat senators were elected, these are all states where shenanigans was going on. These were all states that they kept counting well past. Here's the thing, man. You got third world countries that are able to count the ballots in a single day. Okay. You have Florida, you had Texas. Okay. I don't know how they stack up against, New York and California. I'm not really sure. Oh, Arizona and Nevada too. Yeah. Wisconsin too. Yeah. Yeah, they had shenanigans going on. But they shut down, or okay, you got Texas, you got Florida. Now, both of these have like twice as many population as some of these other states, like as some of these states that were having issues counting the ballots. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about California and New York that had these type of issues, but there was still some shenanigans going on in California. There were still some shenanigans that were going on in New York, but that's beside the point of what I'm talking about. My point is, some of these states that were having these issues, of these 4 senator states, or the 4 senators that won, regardless of Trump winning the election or not, every single one of these states, they kept counting and counting and counting and counting and counting. But here's the thing, and here's where the question is. You have Texas. You have Florida. Florida announced who the winner was like an hour or two after polls had closed, and had like double the population of some of these other states that were having issues counting the ballots. California still counting. Texas, same type of thing. Okay. They twice the population of some of these states. What the problem is? I mean, that's a genuine question. What the problem is? You have Florida, you have Texas that can count the ballots and be done the night of the election. Announce what the results are. But these other states can't do that? Do you need Ron DeSantis to go over there and teach you guys how to count ballots? Is that what we need to happen? Because there's no reason whatsoever why they want to keep counting and keep counting and keep counting weeks after the election. What the fuck is California doing that they ain't done counting ballots yet? I want to know. And the only reason why to keep counting, there's only one reason why. One reason why you'd want to delay announcing, why you'd want to keep counting, why you'd want to do all this. There's only one reason why to do it. There's only one reason, and that is it. One reason. Steal the election. They knew they wouldn't be able to pull off taking the election from Trump. They knew they wouldn't be able to do that. The numbers were overwhelming for Trump. But they want to take his power away. They want to make sure that there's not anything that Trump's going to be able to do in office. Brian puts in there, goes, to cheat. Exactly. Exactly. Fact of the matter is, even people that don't like Trump, voted for him because they see what's going on under the Biden-Harris administration. They've seen that with a Harris-Walz administration, they would get more of the same, if not worse. I mean, let's face it, and let's be honest about this. Kamala Harris is even more left than what Bernie Sanders is. Bernie Sanders is a communist. You know, we fought communism at one point in time. What the hell? Why are we electing them into office? Why does Bernie Sanders even have a seat? I have no idea why. I don't get it. But they knew what they were going to get with the Harris-Walz administration and with everything that's going on, the crappy economy, with inflation, with the housing market, with the price of groceries, with the price at the pump. People aren't liking this. People are like, regardless of how I felt about, Trump's mean tweets, it didn't affect the price at the pump. It didn't affect the groceries. It didn't affect my pocketbook. The Bravo Sierra that Trump was talking on Twitter didn't affect my pocketbook. The Kamala Harris campaign, which is not going to be any different than the Biden-Harris campaign, presidency, administration, whatever, it is affecting my pocketbook. It is affecting the economy. It is affecting the price at the pump. It is affecting the price of groceries. It is affecting whether or not people can afford a new house. Well, a house, period. It is affecting it. And the American people spoke up and spoke out. President Trump got a clear mandate. Fix the shit. Clean up Washington. Drain the swamp. Close the border. Deport the illegals. He had a clear mandate. He has a clear mandate. They're terrified he's actually going to do it. That's what it amounts to. They're terrified that he might actually do it. All right, we're taking a quick break. When I return, we're going to be talking about and now we'll actually take a break. We will. Second Amendment stuff. We're going to be talking about tariffs, something that a lot of people don't really seem to understand, but we're going to talk about that right after this.
Walking down the street with a smile so coy, feeling like a king, not a single decoy. But then it slips out, silent but deadly. Everyone around just looks at me dreadfully. With a loaded mask, silent escape, sure it wasn't first class. Trying to act cool like nothing's wrong, but everyone knows it's a stinky song. Silent but deadly, creeping through the air. People holding noses everywhere. Moments of peace torn apart, all from the art of the silent fart. Crowded room, I let one go, hoping no one noticed, but it's a show. Faces start to twist and turn. Maybe next time I'll be more concerned. Oh, the shame, the awkward dance, playing with fate in the fart romance. Wishing I could just disappear. The laughter breaks out, conquering the fear. Silent but deadly, creeping through the air. People holding noses everywhere. Where moments of peace torn apart, all from the art of a silent fart. Of a silent fart.
Have you ever had an ailment that a normal over-the-counter remedy just couldn't fight? If this is the case, then boy, have I got the solution for you. Tussin. That's right, Tussin. Cough? Tussin. Cold? Tussin. Runny nose? Tussin. Itchy watery eyes? Tussin. Broken leg? Tussin. Tussin is the ultimate cure-all, guaranteed to stop anything that ails you. Tussin, available wherever OTCs are sold. All right, and we are back. That Silent But Deadly, I love that song. Thing is amazing. And these songs actually that I'm playing right now are going to be things that are, oh, never mind. I can't talk about that yet. Next month I got an announcement. In December, there's going to be a pretty big announcement. I'm excited about it. I really am. But yeah, Silent But Deadly. All right. So, y'all know the moniker of the show, defending the Constitution because freedom freaking matters. That's right. That's what we do here. This headline from the New York Post. All right, look, before I get into the headline, all right, here's the thing, okay? The left would consider me a Christian nationalist, I believe. And basically the reason behind that is because my belief is that freedoms come from God, not from man, not from government. That's what my belief is. Regardless of how you feel, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit. I don't give a shit how you feel. I don't care. Because that what you believe doesn't change the words in the Constitution. Actually, it's not the Constitution. It's the words that are in the Declaration of Independence. And let me read it for you, and from memory. From the second paragraph, I believe, is where it starts. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Let me go ahead and rewind just a little bit. Endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, among these are life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. It's not the job of government to grant freedoms. That's not what the Constitution does. The government's job is to protect said freedoms. Freedoms that doesn't come from government. Y'all's following me? Y'all's ever read that part in the Declaration of Independence? Did you do that? Because it's pretty clear. So I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you believe that rights come from government. They don't. It's one of them Christian principles. What man gives you, man can take away, but what God gives you, no man can take away. And our founding fathers believed that as well. Regardless of what their religious beliefs were, they believed that you had the right to speak out. They believed you had the right to communicate, the free exchange of information and ideas. They believed this. They believed you had a right to protect yourself. Why did they believe these things? Because they looked at the animal kingdom. They looked at the animal kingdom. Animals have antlers. They have spikes. They have, some of them even can be used as biohazard weapons. I mean, holy crap. The skunk will spray people. Stink really bad. Our founding fathers looked at nature and understood that rights come from the Creator, not from government. It's government's job to protect rights. They do not grant them. The Ninth Amendment even says that you have more rights than what we listed here. The 10th Amendment says that there are restrictions on the federal government, and if the power wasn't denied to the state or specifically given to the federal government, that all these rights belong in the hands of the states and the people. Pretty freaking clear. So even though I believe all of that, this headline comes from the New York Post. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I pull that up, got to make sure I did something. And I did. I'm proud of myself. Headline from the New York Post: Judge rejects Second Amendment argument from illegal immigrant living in Ohio charged over possession of 170 guns. Holy crap. That's a lot of guns. That's a lot of bang bang. That's a lot of pew pew. That's a lot of stuff going on. Holy crap. Now, granted, I believe in the Second Amendment. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I agree with that. I believe that wholeheartedly. But here's the thing. If you are an illegal alien, you don't specifically have constitutional protections. You don't have that. I'm sorry to inform you, but you don't. You're here illegally. You are a criminal. You living here is a bad thing. There's nothing that says that we owe you jack diddly or squat. We don't owe you shit. The only thing that we owe you is transportation back across the border, and that's it. We don't even owe these people even a plane ticket to go back to their home countries, assuming they didn't, cross over the southern border into Mexico. We don't owe them anything. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, put them in a catapult, have Mexico set up some type of a landing zone, a net that can catch them and just... I'd be perfectly fine with that. Put it on pay-per-view. We'd make a lot of money. We would pay for the deportation easily if we put that on pay-per-view. I'd pay money to see that. Would you pay money to see that? I'd pay money to see that. I'd pay money to see that twice. I would pay money to watch it live, and then I'd pay money to watch it on the repeat. That's what I'd do. We don't owe them anything. I don't care if they've been here for an hour, for a day, for a year, for a decade. I don't care. We don't owe them anything. If they are here illegally, they need to go back to where they came from. I'm sorry. Okay? We don't have the money to pay for this. We don't. I seen a headline not that long ago talking about a huge wave of people that crossed the southern border not that long ago. Like earlier in the week, I seen that people crossing the border. It's like, holy crap. We don't owe them anything. They do not have constitutional rights, constitutional freedom, constitutional protections. They do not have that. Nothing in the Constitution is aimed towards the illegal whenever it comes to rights and freedoms. Now, that's not to say that I believe that these people should be mistreated, that they should be beaten, that they should be robbed, that they should be anything. Brian puts in there, he goes, these countries owe us money for allowing them to come here. Yeah. I agree with that. Heck yeah, I do. But you want to know what the sad thing is? We have, I'm sure y'all remember the headlines, FEMA, dished out a butt ton of money that went to various cities and states that were housing illegals, while American citizens were homeless, where veterans were homeless, living on the street, but, we're supposed to ignore that. Okay. We pay for them whenever they get here. Illegal aliens cross the border. They want a transgender surgery, the take a dick for me and the addictomy. They have, these various things that they'll do for illegals. They'll put them in a house. They'll give them free health care. They'll, pay for the education, put them in school, all this other kind of shit, give them food, give them whatever they want, so we pay for them when they get here. But heaven forbid we give money to, oh man, I got to talk about that. I didn't include that in here. But we have people over in North Carolina that, what the $750 is you got to qualify for. And they had the mandate to ignore houses that had Trump signs. And yes, that is a headline. Yes, there were whistleblowers that acknowledged that yes, we passed over houses. We refused to give aid to people that were flying a Trump flag that had a Trump sign. That actually happened. Are you pissed off about it yet? Because that actually happened. The mandate from the upper people that were making the decision said, if they have a Trump flag, if they have a Trump sign, if they have this kind of stuff, don't give them aid. Don't give them support. But yet an illegal coming over the border, we'll give them everything. But screw the American citizen. Okay. And they wonder why they lost. We pay for them when they get here. And then we also send money to their country of origin. Money that is supposed to be helping the very people that come over here. So we're paying for these people twice. I want to know why. I've always wanted to know why. And you know what? I don't say what you want. I don't even give a shit that this represents 1% of the national budget. I don't care. That makes no never mind to me. It's still, regardless of how little it is still is money that we should not be spending. It's money that we should not be giving to countries because you name the country. You name the country. Just spin the globe, put your finger on it. You name that country. We're sending them money. Hell, we're sending China money. We're sending Russia money. We're sending Iraq and Iran money. We're sending Ukraine money. We're sending everybody money. And yeah, it may represent a very small percentage of the national budget. But here's the thing. We're like $37 trillion in debt, and that doesn't even include all the debt. We ain't got the money. We've not had the money. But yet, we still spend it. And do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why we're $37 trillion in debt? Do you know why they refuse to fix the problem? It's because the deep state makes such a huge amount of money that's the reason why they refuse to fix it. All the NGOs, the non-government organizations that help, that provide aid, that do this, that, and the other, okay, they all get money from government. And then these NGOs donate money back to the people whom allowed them to have the power that they have, to wield the power that they wield, to do the things, and in some cases, in most instances actually, these NGOs, these various different organizations, even though they are not part of government, they still get government funding. We still pay for that. These are businesses, these are companies, these are organizations that work outside of government, doing the things that government itself can't do. And you're going to sit there and tell me that government isn't bloated? That Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, Doge, that is not relevant to do some cutting. Government's bloated, people. Horribly so. Government is really bloated. We've got problems. It's high time we fix them, don't you think? That's the mandate that we gave President Trump when we elected him to office. Let's see here. We'll skip that one for a moment. This headline from Fox News. Democrat Seth Moulton, or however you pronounce his name, scolds party for shutting down free speech, not listening to voters, in brutal op-ed. One of the reasons why they say that the Democrats lost so overwhelmingly by such a huge margin, the reason why they lost is because there is a huge disconnect between Washington and the rest of the country. It's basically what they say, a huge disconnect. These people have lost there's a name for it. I don't remember what it is. It doesn't matter. They wanted to shut down free speech. They want to shut down Rumble. They want to shut down X. They want to get rid of it. They're not listening to voters. I mean, the fact of the matter is, they swung so far to the left, and they didn't. Their policies, everything that they were talking about, they swung too far to the left without actually having. Okay, let's put it this way. They shouldn't have gone so freaking radical just yet. They thought they had enough support that it would be able to carry them through the election. But unfortunately, well, no. Let me scratch that. Let me get my verbiage correct. Fortunately for America, fortunately for the Republic, fortunately for freedom, fortunately for the Constitution of the United States of America, fortunately, and thank God, they didn't have the support. They thought they did. They thought with how badly they attacked Trump, they thought that Trump derangement syndrome would basically carry them through the election, and the people would ignore their pocketbook. They could ignore free speech. They could ignore all this stuff, because that's the thing. Free speech was out there. They wasn't able to shut it down. They wasn't able to control the narrative, but none of that would have even mattered if there wasn't such a huge disconnect between the Democrat Party and the voters. And that's what sealed their fate. It really is. This headline from the Washington Examiner. Let me take a drink. Oh, that's some good coffee. Elite media concede they are out of touch, and they beg forgiveness. Brian puts in there, he goes, do you know who Jeff Unger is? I can't say that I do. I mean, the name sounds familiar to me, but I can't place it. Just being honest, I can't place it. It sounds familiar, at least the first name. Not just because I know like 20 Jeffs, but Jeff Younger. It sounds familiar to me, but I can't place it. But anyway, elite media concede that they are out of touch. They beg forgiveness because that's, they were so far out of touch, with everything that they were saying, the lies they were, putting out there, everything. It was ridiculous. It really was, legacy news media, mainstream media, put the label on it that you want to, they are begging for forgiveness because they have seen their numbers tanked. We talked about this last week. They've seen their numbers tanked. They think that they are, and they are, no longer relevant. People are not going to legacy news in order to get their information, to find out what's going on. They're not doing that. We've really entered into uncharted territory in this nation whenever it comes to the exchange of information and ideas. And in all honesty, you know, it's way more pure than what it used to be. It is. Brian Pitzer goes, look him up. His story will make your blood boil what he is going through. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll look him up. Let's go ahead and put his name in right now. Let me get off of that. Jeff Younger or Young? Younger. Texas father known for his contingent battles. Oh. Yeah, never mind. I'm familiar with the story, but did not know the name of the person. And yes, you are absolutely right. Definitely made my blood boil. Because one of the things that's going on in this country is the state is seizing control of our children. You know, that's one of the reasons why we'll talk about that here in a minute. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break right quick. And when I return, we are going to be talking about the special counsel. We're going to be talking about nope, we ain't talking about that one. We're going to talk about the Department of Education when I get back. Yeah. Yep, a little bit of free speech, a little bit about the Department of Education. We're going to be talking about that right after this. I'll be right back.
USB radio blasting through the night. Static cuts, the silence sparks light. Voices rage, nobody's making sense. In the dark, airways roll suspense. Signal strong, but the message unclear.
Have you ever been so full of it your eyes are brown? Have you ever sat on the toilet but nothing comes out? Is a box of frosted shredded wheat just not doing the trick? Well, have I got the ultimate solution for you? Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. See, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse is that particular product that will break through the sphincter like the Kool-Aid Man through a brick wall. Oh yeah! No more irregularity, no more cramping, just good old nice flow. That's right, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. Please use responsibly and use at home. This is a fast-acting product now available in Tropical Punch. And welcome back. So one of the things that Trump is wanting to do during his administration is, excuse me, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and get a quick drink of the coffee. So one of the things that he's looking to do is dismantling the Department of Education. And the sad thing is that a lot of it, what it has to amount to is you have, okay, look, when I was going to school, okay, I did not know much, if anything, about any of my teachers. I didn't know. I couldn't tell you the sexual orientation of any one of my teachers. I couldn't. I couldn't tell you anything about their personal life. I couldn't tell you anything about their spouse, anything about any boyfriend, girlfriend, anything. I couldn't tell you anything about any of my teachers because school is a place for education. It's STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. That's the things that are supposed to be getting taught. When you're in math class, why are you talking about transgender shit? Why are you talking about the different definitions, the different things, everything there is to know about the LGBTQ plus community? Why is it those are the things that are being taught in math class? What the hell does that have to do with math? I mean, is there a second equation that I'm not aware of if you're gay? 2 + 2 = 4, but if you're gay, it equals pineapple. I mean, really? I mean, last time I checked, that wasn't a thing. It didn't matter. 2 + 2 = 4. Doesn't matter your sexual orientation. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter shit. It doesn't matter what kind of mood you're in. 2 + 2 = 4. So why are we teaching these things to our children? Why is it all of a sudden because we have the LGBTQ movement that all of a sudden these things have to enter into the conversation? It was never part of the conversation before. Why is it that they're wanting it to be part of the conversation now? Would they still allow you to make it part of the conversation if you were talking about Christian values whenever it comes to, your marital status and sexual orientation? If you were a Christian, would they still allow that kind of conversation in there? They allow the pride flag to be hung up in classrooms. Would they allow the Christian flag, or would they yell out and be all pissed off saying that, oh, separation of church and state? We all know the answer to that question. You can hang the Palestinian flag, but you can't hang the Israeli flag. But that's my point. I mean, these are some of the things that's going on in education. It's not about education anymore. It's about indoctrination. And so whenever President Trump, went out on the campaign trail saying that one of the things he wants to do is eradicate the Department of Education, I was all for it. I'm like, yes, he's talking about school choice and school vouchers. And I'm like, yes, I would love to see this happen. I had talked about in the past that, yes, I'm sick and tired of the indoctrination that's going on in our education system. I'm sick and tired of, people graduating high school and having like a 3rd grade or a 4th grade math, skills and reading comprehension. It's like, holy crap, what are we doing? If we actually forced the school systems, which, yes, money should, one, The federal Department of Education it should not exist. This is a power that belongs in the hands of the school, of the state, period. End of story. It does not belong in the hands of the federal government. 10th Amendment, people, 10th Amendment. It belongs in the hands of the states, period. End of story. And I understand that it may sound like a good thing to have a standard across the nation. I understand that. But, I mean, here's the thing. Once you graduate high school and then you want to go into college, you know, before you start your chosen career, there's electives you may have to take in order to make sure that you are caught up to the level of education, the standard of education that said college says that you should have. So we already acknowledge in this country that not all schools are created equal. We acknowledge that already. Every single one of these colleges out there, there's electives you may have to take. There's classes you're going to have to deal with, you're going to have to do before you even start getting into whatever your study is that you're actually wanting to get, whatever degree you're aiming for. A department coming from the second worst president in U.S. history. Yep, Carter. And prior to the Department of Education being a thing back in 1978 under the Carter administration, prior to that, we actually had good education numbers. We didn't start slipping in the quality of education until after the Department of Education. And their only fix is throw more money at it. Just throw more money at it. Eventually, if you throw enough money at it, we'll get better and better and better. I mean, it's got nothing to do with our policies in education. It's got nothing to do that we care more about the LGBTQ plus rainbow community. We care more about DEI than anything else. I mean, that's not the reason education is failing, people. Come on. That's not the reason at all. Bullshit. Yeah, it is. They don't care about math anymore. They don't care about reading comprehension anymore. You know, there's no child left behind. But the point is, we had a much better quality of education back in the day than what we have now. I mean, like now you would have to get a bachelor's degree in college in order to equal the education prior to the Department of Education high school diploma. I mean, that's a fact. Actually, it's probably worse now, but that's a fact. Our education is a joke. It really is. And just like how competition breeds better results, better prices, better quality, the same thing would happen in our education system. It would. People should be given the choice, shouldn't they? I mean, don't you think that we deserve a choice on where our children are going to be educated? Don't you think they deserve a choice? Don't you believe that our money automatically, just because we pay tax dollars, should go to a department, a government school that is failing our children, that doesn't have very good test results, that sucks at their job, that the only thing they want to teach is DEI and segregation and Rainbow Community Bravo Sierra, that they don't care about math. They don't care about technology. They don't care about engineering. They don't care about science. Is this really what you want just because it's the public school? Do you automatically want these teachers, the school board, these schools to be rewarding for doing a crap job? I mean, is that what you want? If we were to have choice, a school voucher program, if the money stayed with the child and the child had options, isn't that a good thing? Yes, It is. Because if the school, okay, here's the thing. Are you guys aware that the Department of Education, let's see, that's in the federal government, that's in Washington, D.C. Okay, and Washington, D.C., did you know that all of the people in the Department of Education, all the senators, all the members of the House of Representatives, all them people, they believe so strongly in the quality of education that is delivered by the government school system that every single one of them sends their children to government schools. Did you know that? They love the quality of education so much that every one of them sends their kids to public school. I mean, government-run schools. Did you know that? You didn't know that. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I'm lying my ass off. That's not true. None of them sends their children to government schools. Why is that? Was good for the goose is good for the gander, right? I mean, if the quality of education was so par, if it was so great, why are all of them sending their children to private schools? Is it because the quality of education just isn't there? Yeah, it is. None of these people that are making these rules that all of us have to abide by send their children to government schools. It just doesn't happen. Now, for these people, it's not really an issue. It doesn't matter to them, because, yes, they're paying the tax dollars, and yes, it's already going to, the government school system, but they make enough money that it doesn't matter. And the people that have to suffer are the very people that the Democrats claim that they want to help by providing more opportunity, providing a better education. Even though they're not receiving it, they're not doing anything to help, and they are completely against the school voucher program. Sending their children to schools that have failed, the cities failed that's a mockery, makes a mockery of education. You have people going into the school system and they're being taught more about rainbow. And the school system is actually, can transition your child without your consent. And in which case, yeah. Why are we giving the school our money? That money should stay with the child. To where low-income families are no longer forced to send their children to government-run education facilities. That money should stay with the student. And where the parents decide to send their children, that's where the money to educate their children should go. I'm all for that. And if the public run schools, the government run school, wants that money, maybe they would provide a better quality of education. Maybe they would straighten up. I mean, think about this. If the quality of education out of these government-run schools are so great, why wouldn't they want a school voucher program? Because they're going to be getting that money anyway, right? Their quality of education is so amazing. What they're teaching children is so great that, of course, all the money is going to be going to them anyway. I mean, just because we give people choice doesn't mean that people are just going to abandon and evacuate the school system. The government-run school systems, yeah. I mean, is that what they're afraid of? I mean, if that's what you're afraid of, then, which would happen. I mean, I guarantee you it would happen here. Because I'd make it to where more people could actually, pay to send their children elsewhere. I mean, granted, the price of education is going to go up. Yeah, of course. I mean, whenever you have, if you had the school voucher program and our parents actually had a choice on where their children went to get educated, you have people enrolling in government run school just plummet to nothing. And you have, private schools, doubling in admission. Yeah, price is going to go up. There's only so many seats available in the classroom. Yeah, price is going to go up. Absolutely. But also think about it like this. The price of, educating the children in public schools is going to plummet as well. You're no longer battling for a seat. So, I mean, even if you want, then they're going to be taken care of. They're going to be just fine. Absolutely. The school system thinks that they are the arbiters of truth. They think what they say goes. They think that they have more rights over your child than you do. Whenever you have schools that are socially the whole transgender thing, that are socially converting their children over, keeping that away from the parents, and even trying to get them medically a medical procedure. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're, 14 years old, can you get a tattoo? Can you get a body piercing? No. The reason is because it's a permanent thing, that we don't want to do that to our children. It's a permanent thing. And once you get it, there's no coming back from that. But if you have an addictomy or take a dick for me, if you have any of that, then, I mean, those are truly irreversible medical procedures. I mean, I can get my tattoo removed. It may be expensive, but I can do it. Once you chop it off, it don't grow back. Just throwing that out there. We ain't lizards, okay? We're not Deadpool. Once it chops off, it's done. That's it. There ain't no getting it back. So we're saying that a 9-year-old has enough identity of self, is secure enough in their own beliefs, is aware, and is adult enough to make the decision as to whether or not their plumbing is accurate or not, and whether or not they want to change their plumbing. They are adult enough to make that decision at 9 years old, but heaven forbid you get a tattoo or a body piercing, because you're just not grown enough to make that decision. I mean, doesn't that just make perfect sense? I mean, doesn't it? I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Brian gave me the name of Jeff Younger, and I did look that up. And he said that he's about to go to jail for not paying child support because he won't pay for his son becoming a girl. And of which case, yeah, I mean, that type of story, that does infuriate me. And whenever I pulled it up, what the thing told me in here was he is a Texas father known for his contentious custody battle with his ex-wife, particularly regarding the gender identity and treatment of one child who identifies as a girl. His case has sparked significant public debate, and political movements surrounding transgender health care for minors. I don't think we should be doing this to our children. I fully believe that this is It's child abuse. I mean, how would you define that? Whenever I was a kid, I thought I was Superman. My parents wouldn't get me a cape. They knew me well enough. They knew that I'd jump off something I shouldn't be jumping off of. The only saving grace was tuck and roll. They didn't buy me a cape. They didn't do that. And whenever I jumped off the couch and landed on the coffee table, I learned real quick that I can't fly. Just because I thought I was, it didn't make me Superman. It didn't give me the ability to fly. It did not change anything about me. Nothing. Gravity still affected me the same way gravity always has affected me. It wasn't like my belief was enough to allow me the ability to fly. I know children that are like, oh, I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur. I'm a cat. Hear me roar. I'm curious, if we're supposed to submit to the whims, and if your kid who believes himself to be a cat gets sick, where do you take him? Do you take him to the vet or do you take him to a doctor? Because, a vet isn't supposed to work on humans, but, your child claims to be a cat, so they're a cat, right? Where do you take them when they get sick? Do they sleep in the bed or do you force them to go outside into the doghouse or the cat house? Do you give them a litter box for them to do their business in? Do you shower them regularly? I'm kind of curious, whenever they eat dinner, do they eat out of a cat bowl or a dog dish or do they get to eat at the table? Do you give them their own bed in their own bedroom? Because, here's the thing. I got a dog. I care for my dog. I really do. My dog doesn't eat at the table with me, and my dog doesn't have its own bedroom. It just is no. But if you had a furry, do they get that? I'm just kind of curious, asking, for a friend. It's child abuse, what we're allowing to go on. The only saving grace I can give you, and there is, there's a bright side to this. There really is. Because we are seeing a shift happen over in Europe. Because they went down this rabbit hole and they went down it hardcore. And there was even things that we were doing that they refused to do because it was so ridiculous and they weren't even that far gone. But there were things that they did there are things that we did that they wouldn't do. And the good news is that the saving grace, the light at the end of the tunnel, they're rolling back these type of things. They're rolling them back. They are ceasing with the insanity. Finally. They're showing common sense. Light at the end of the tunnel. And I really hope that we wake up over here in America. And that's the thing, though. Like, the truth be told, there's enough people that don't believe a lot of this Bravo Sierra that we're trying to do over here. It's not as bad as what the left would have you believe. They don't allow dissent. So, it's pretty clear that they're not actually for some of that stuff. So Trump wants to dismantle the Department of Education. And in which case, I'm all for it. Because then we would actually be able to compete on the world stage whenever it came to the quality of education. We wouldn't have to import people to do certain jobs because we would actually have a quality of education that we would be able to hire people within the U.S. to do these jobs. I'm excited to see us go back to a more common sense approach to education. I really do. Just checking a few things in here. Just seeing if there's any other articles that I am wanting to get to before I shut her down and get on out of here. And, well, you know, it looks pretty decent. All right. Well, it looks like that is it. That is it. That is all I got for y'all today. I do appreciate y'all stopping by and taking a listen and see to the show. I do greatly appreciate it. I do the show for you. So I appreciate y'all stopping by, for contributing, for participating in the conversation. It really is awesome. Now, in the next week or two, next week, I got an announcement to make. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this part of the show or if I'm going to be doing this separate, but I do have an announcement to make. There are some things happening in Weaponized Law Productions that I'm excited about. I really am. Things going on. Things are happening. Things are hopping. I'm excited about it. So anyway, y'all have yourself a great one, and I will see you in the next one. This has been The HoHo Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpikle.com. Until next time.